It's been nothing but a lie. Religion's pushing Esau's agenda on the true Israelite. Let me make it crystal clear. I'm here to serve you how a child. And nothing's gonna change that until we meet him in the sky. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up. Is it just your emotion that you're feeling on the inside? Or maybe it's conviction, since you learned the truth about the Most High. Or you could just be fearful of the carnal things you lose in this life. Or still a stiff-necked people getting by on Edom's life. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up, Israel. Rise up. Rise up, Israel. Before I ever knew you knew me, you chose me. Before I ever knew my purpose, you molded me. Looking at my past indiscretions, I'm thinking I'm dirty. I'm so dirty. Broken pieces, some are missing. You're saying I'm worthy. I'm still worthy. Focus on my everyday survival. Living my life in captivity. I was not prepared for what came next. My judgment, is this life worth it? Before I ever knew you knew me, you chose me. Before I ever knew my purpose, you molded me. At first I didn't understand why you loved me. I should have been dead, bullets in my head. How many times will I defy you? But you still call my name. You still call me. Create in me a clean heart. Oh yeah. If I deserve it, fix what is broken. Release what I'm holding. so perfect. Before I ever knew you knew me, you chose me. Before I ever knew my purpose, you molded me. 'Cause you love me, you shaped me, you molded me. You chose me.
I don't believe in God. It doesn't matter. He believes in you.
I absolutely believe in God. Let me tell you why. True story. They say I act like my mother's son. That's what Mount Vernon was the streets that I love to run. Found myself on the wrong side of someone's gun. Breathing hard, but I made it. Yep, damn right, I believe in God.
Every time I try to get out the game, it's like somebody keeps pulling me back in. They don't want me to leave. Can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. I try to get out this game, it ain't easy. It's what they're telling me, but I don't know because this game is full of jealousy. I can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. I try to get out this game, it ain't easy. It's what they're telling me, but I don't know because this game is full of jealousy. Rap is dead, it's too late to restore its true state. MCs are too fake because truth's the new hate rare. Nobody's rhymes are potent, for those whose eyes are open can see the game is full of liars and these liar Cohens. Now that's an omen omer, that means a name sign. How they claim that they woke but sleep the same time. How they claim that they flow but they not impressive. How they claim rap evolved, they ain't no fossil record. But they push that, and so I push back and reminisce about the days when they made good rap. And the beats were fire, had to adjust the volume. Now you gotta mumble or sell a couple thousand. Yup, the game has changed, there ain't no standards. You gotta wear tight jeans and rock a man purse. But I'm killing them up in my street clothes. Second verse, watch, I'll drop a cheat code. Can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. I try to get out this game, it ain't easy. It's what they're telling me, but I don't know because this game is full of jealousy. I can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. I try to get out this game, it ain't easy. It's what they're telling me, but I don't know because this game is full of jealousy. And I don't mean to sound boastful, but when she sings, she make it sound so soulful. So I made an anthem for my corner vest. These verses ain't my single, they're just my warm-up sets. I praise Yahweh on a psaltery. I sacrifice, so don't think that you can alter me. Get a sacrifice, and I said all to me. Misunderstood, they speaking Paul to me. And switch my style from random gun lines to knowledge top with a slight sprinkle of punchlines. And I'm not ashamed, I tell them we don't care. Flow is tight like outfits that Migos wear. And you know that that isn't right. In the dark, what good is a hidden light? And the end is near, so we sent the fishes. And I speak the truth because I know the scriptures. The game needs me. I can't leave the game alone, y'all. The game needs me. They keep pulling me back in. Can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. I try to get out this game, it ain't easy. The game needs me. It really, really needs me.
I want you to shake those arms right now and move those elbows right now. Because I'm shaking them. Head on a bokosha. Because God who is healing you right now. Did you feel that?
No, I didn't.
She's supposed to have a surgery to correct this hip problem. I have faith in God, come Holy Spirit, that right now she's going to be healed by the power of God and receive a brand new hip. Do it, Jesus! A brand new hip. Bam, 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 bam.
Pastors, are you ready? You want something? Take it! That's yours tonight. You want it? You want it? Take it! You want it tonight?
Ya Baraka, Ya Baraka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Waya Shamaka, Waya Shamaka, Yahweh, 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 Panyawa Al Yaka, Panyawa Al Yaka, Waya Khanka, Waya Khanka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yasha Yahweh, Yasha Yahweh, Panyawa Al Yaka, Panyawa Al Yaka, Wayasham, Wayasham, Laka Shalom, Laka Shalom, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Shah, Barak Rapah, Barak Rapah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Shah, Barak Rapah, Barak Rapah, Yasha Allah, Yasha Allah.
Well, shalom, shalom, everybody. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. It's your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing Lines of Israel and Maccabeestv. I want to say peace and blessings to everybody that's listening in on this Saturday morning. Peace and blessings to those that observe the Sabbath or observing the Sabbath today. Shout out to everybody that's watching us on our platforms on YouTube, on the Lines of Israel class page, and also on Maccabeestv as well. I would ask you, brothers and sisters, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and make sure you guys hit the notification bell so you guys can be notified every time we upload a video to this channel. And also drop a comment in the comment section to trigger the algorithm so that people can get this video recommended to them on their timeline when they wake up. All right. I also want to say shout out to my brother Nasai as always. Shout out to Nasai TV for continuing to do great work in the Israelite community and continuing to proliferate Israelite content directly into people's homes, which is amazing, right? So shout out to that brother. And make sure, as I always tell you guys, when you see Nasai around on Clubhouse or Facebook or anywhere, just, you know what I'm saying, give the brother a salute, give him his respect for what it is that he's doing. And if the Most High puts it on your spirit to support him financially in any way, shape, or form, do so as well, because he takes this undertaking personally on himself, and he allows all camps that are interested to broadcast on his networks, which are broadcasting directly into people's homes. And I don't really think people appreciate how I don't think people really appreciate how important something like that is. And lastly, of course, shout out to the Clubhouse family. You guys over on Clubhouse. The link for the YouTube is at the top of the room if you guys should choose to come over. Make sure you guys also are sharing the room. You also, Clubhouse actually restored the ability to ping people into the room, so you guys can ping people into the room as well and share it on all your platforms. And if there's any issues with the audio, as always, you guys could click the link at the top of the room and come over to YouTube. So the first portion of today's lesson is going to be split into two portions. The first portion, it is a PowerPoint, but it's not really anything that must see per se, right? It's, to me, today's lesson, the first half is must listen and must examine ourselves. That's the first portion of the lesson. If I'm not too long-winded and I'm able to get to the second half of the lesson, then that is 100% must see, meaning you should be on YouTube looking at what I'm going to show you guys. That's if I'm able to get to that second portion of the lesson. We'll do a little history today, all right? But I'm going to move in the spirit because, if the spirit has me go longer or be long-winded, it's for a reason. All right. And sometimes we need to have these conversations as Israelites amongst ourselves and remind ourselves of some things and take inventory of ourselves. And so that's one of the conversations that we need to have today and going forward for the next couple of weeks. We really need to be having these type of conversations because it's a lot going on in Israel, as everybody already knows. But before I get into today's lesson, I saw the elder pop into the room. So Elder Zab, if you want to say anything to the people, the floor is open.
Hey, Shalom, King. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was on mute. Shalom to the family, brothers and sisters. Shalom to the family. Everything is everything. Yeah, like the priest said, there's a lot going on in Israel, but we got to stay focused, right? We got a task at hand. We got a race as it is. Right? Remember the Apostle Paul told us about this race that we just got to be even keeled, man. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we just got to stay in the spirit. Right? So with that, I'm going to yield to priest.
Calling all praises to the Most High. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Officer Zakaria will be in and out. So for anybody that's on Clubhouse that is used to being able to come to the stage, Officer Zakaria will be in and out of the Clubhouse room. So when he comes in, if there's anybody that should be on the stage, he will bring you guys up. You guys pardon me, but I'm over on the other side working the YouTube and the PowerPoint, so I can't really see what's going on Clubhouse. So you guys forgive me if you're trying to come up and I don't see it. All right. With that being said, today's lesson is called, the first portion of today's lesson is called Someone's Downfall is No Laughing Matter. And I've been sitting on this lesson for a long time. And I sit and I observe my surroundings. Of course, we all do that in the world, obviously, right? But I also observe my surroundings in the Israelite community as well. And one of the things that I have observed over the course of 30 years, going on 31 years, and it's true, is that a lot of Israelites have come to the knowledge of being Israelites. You've come to the knowledge of your nationality, but you haven't repented yet. You haven't. That goes for a lot of people. You haven't repented yet. You haven't changed your ways yet. The same things that you would do in the world, the same way that you would treat people in the world, the same mindset that you have in the world, you have it in Israel. You just wear fringes. That's all. And you come to the holy days and you're gluttonous and you overeat and overindulge and overdrink. That's what you do. But you haven't changed. You're unrepented. You are an unrepented Israelite. And there's a large portion of this community that's like that. And one of the ways that I know or identify somebody that's unrepentant is that you laugh when you see things happen to other Israelites. You are excited. You are gleeful. You can't wait to get to social media and talk SHIT. There's children listening, so I can't say the word. You're just excited to see it. You're the first one to turn your camera on to expose somebody. You're the first one to go to social media to expose somebody. Oh, I always knew that brother. I always knew that sister. And you get a certain sense, or I see a certain sense of excitement and happiness to see something happen to somebody else. This is the mindset that we had in the world, you know? You guys have a cell phone, right? They have the popcorn emoji, like when you're watching stuff online and you put, you know what I'm saying, you make a comment on YouTube or if you're watching videos on TikTok or Instagram, whatever, and it's drama, what do a lot of people do? They put the daggone popcorn emoji, meaning that they're entertained by watching somebody else crash out. They're entertained by watching something bad happen to somebody else. They're entertained by that. That's our people in the world. We talk about the Esau being the devil and all that, but a lot of black people, they have the spirit of the devil as well. And a lot of Israelites have the spirit of the devil as well. And Christ told that to the Pharisees too, by the way, as we all know. So we have this mindset in the world where we enjoy. That's what black social media really revolves around. It revolves around us being entertained by the problems of others, by the downfall of others. We're entertained by that thing. And sadly, if you watch the Israelite community, we're entertained by that stuff too. I see it. When I see something happening in Israel, I'm always scrolling up and down my timeline to see who's going to be the first person to say something, because that's the person that was excited and happy to see it happen, whatever the it is. I scroll up and down my Instagram. Let me see who's laughing. Let me see who's the first person to say something. Ha, I told you so. I always do. I always watch for that. But someone's downfall is not a laughing matter. It's no laughing matter. And so sometimes we can't talk about Revelation 2 and 3 and 5 and 11 and 12 and all the deep history. We can't talk about that till we understand the basics, the milk. A truly repentant Israelite is not laughing at or happy to see misfortune happen to somebody else. Watch this. Even if that person, another Israelite, did you wrong. If anything, the righteous spirit in you, when you see judgment come down on that person, you feel sadness. I'm going to show you that in the Bible, because that's how David was. King David, that's how he was. We all know the story. We all know what Saul did to David. But what did David do when Saul died? He didn't laugh at that downfall. He didn't laugh at that judgment. So why do you? The Bible teaches us that David was a man after God's own heart. David did not laugh at the downfall of his enemies, so why do you? I don't get it. Because you haven't repented, that's why. That's why. Anyway, let's move on. This is the book of Job, chapter 31. We're going to start from verse number 28. Nothing deep going on here today. We're just having a conversation. We're just making understanding understood. Y'all know the saying, right? They say what's understood don't need to be said. That's only true in some cases. Sometimes what's understood still needs to be said. And this is one of those times in Israel right now. What's understood still needs to be said. Because there's a lot of Negroes and fringes in this community. That's a fact. And I only use the word Negroes because there's children listening, but y'all are really the other N word. Anyway, this is the book of Job, chapter 31, verse 28. It says, This also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge. So what iniquity should be punished by the judge? Let's keep reading. For I should have denied the God that is above. If I rejoice at the destruction of him that hated me. Do you guys see that? You guys see that? That's something that people in the world are supposed to do. Not in the truth. If you rejoice at the destruction of somebody that hated you, it's as though you denied the Father. It's iniquity that the judge is going to punish because it's wrong. And the problem with a lot of our people, we are so, especially a lot of, I'm talking about the brothers, you know, I'm just going to say it. I'm not pulling no punches. I'm just going to say it. A lot of times, a lot of you brothers, you call the women emotional, which they are. The Most High created them that way. The Most High created them that way. for a reason, for balance in the family. The Most High did not create it where the man and the woman is supposed to be emotional. That's off. Not to say that men don't have emotions. Understand what I'm saying? Of course, a man has emotions, but you're not supposed to lead with your emotions like a woman. You are not supposed to be controlled with your emotions like a woman. You're not supposed to filter your decisions through your emotions the way a woman wouldn't. A lot of you brothers are like that. I see you guys rebuking the sisters, and you are more emotional and effeminate than any sister I know, because it'd be the brothers online gossiping on Facebook. It'd be the men. It'd be the brothers arguing and gossiping like women on Instagram. It's the men, not the women. I see it. A lot of brothers are unrepentant. It says, if I rejoice at the destruction of him that hated me, or lifted up myself when evil found him. Right. In other words, you got some people, some brothers, that are looking for an opportunity. So you want evil to happen to another brother, sometimes for no reason. Not because that brother and sisters, I don't want you guys to think you're left out. Your day is coming. I'm talking to brothers today, because the brothers is the one doing the bullshit that's going on in Israel right now. But you sisters, your day is coming, because y'all have your own problems. Ain't no sisterhood in Israel at all. Y'all don't get along with each other at all. It's ridiculous. Like, I talk to y'all, and none of y'all like each other, but y'all day is coming. Not today. I'm dealing with the brothers today. You have brothers that will hate another brother, not because that brother really did anything to you, but you just, for some reason, you just don't like him. That's worldly stuff. You see somebody, and for some reason, you look at them and just don't like them for whatever reason. That's the world. No, you come in Israel, you don't repent, you put your fringes on, but you don't really repent. You still got that spirit, and you look at another Israelite and you hate them for no reason. You don't even know them. And some of you brothers hate men and want to see them fall because you want to take their place. If the Most High has blessed them financially, if the Most High put them in a position of leadership, if the Most High has uplifted that brother and put them in a certain place in the nation, and you secretly envy or hate that brother for no other reason that the Most High is using that person, and you want to see their downfall because you want to take their spot. There's a lot of that going on in Israel. A lot of that. From the top to the bottom. And it's wicked. Verse 30, neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse to his soul. So it is a sin if you wish evil on your brother or your sister for no reason. I want you brothers and sisters to know that. We're not talking about somebody that there's a reason, but for no reason. A lot of brothers involve themselves in business that has nothing to do with you. A lot of brothers hate other brothers based on what you heard about the man, but you don't know the man. You guys know how many times I've had to tell people, people have come to me and said things to me, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know you. I don't even know you. You listen to what somebody else said, and you allowed, with your feminine self, you listen to what somebody else said, and you allow what somebody else said about me to affect your decision on me. Then you come around me and realize I'm not what that person said. I'm not what that person said. But you were so caught up and wrapped up in your emotions, you allowed yourself to make a decision through your emotions. And that's a problem. And you wished evil upon me. The Most High is going to destroy you. Why? Why is the Most High going to destroy me? For what? What did I do? You don't even know. You just wrapped up in your emotions. All of that is sin, man. Because that's really what a lot of brothers be wishing. A lot of brothers be wishing death on other brothers. Let's just call it what it is. So that makes you a murderer, and murder is sin. You wishing for somebody to be killed without a cause. That's sin. That's evil. There's a lot of that in this nation. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the next. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 5. It says, whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker. I remember back in the 90s, this is probably before some of you brothers and sisters' time. This is before the internet was prevalent. You guys can see on the screen if you're watching the PowerPoint, there was a series of DVDs that were real popular, at least here in New York. I can't speak for other states, but I know here in New York, it was real popular. In New Jersey and the East Coast, up Northeast, it was very popular. It was something called bum fights. You guys ever heard of that? It's called bum fights, where you had people that would go around the ghettos, right? And they would find homeless people that they call bums, right? People that are like down on their luck for whatever reason. And they would pay these homeless people, these bums, money to fight each other. And they would get the footage and be on 125th Street in Harlem selling DVDs of two homeless black people, two homeless Latino people fighting each other just to be able to get a hot meal. The Most High hates stuff like that. And then we wonder why we're in captivity. You don't know what happened to that brother or that sister, why they're homeless or why they're in that condition, but you saw an opportunity to make some money off somebody else's calamity, somebody else's distress, somebody else's problem. You saw an opportunity to make money. The Most High hates that thing. Because when you mock that person who the Most High may have put in that position, and you don't know why God put that person in that position, the Most High could put you in a low position for two reasons. The Most High could put you in a low position to refine you, to humble you, so that when he exalts you, you can always remember when you were down. Right? Us as a nation of Israel, we're in the refinement process now. We're down. The Most High has us in a position of being reproached right now. We are the poor right now. We're in that position as a nation. And the other nations have reproach against us, and they leverage us and put their businesses in our community and suck us dry and all that. And then we learn from these other nations and we do it to each other and make a whole series called bum fights. That's what angers do. I didn't want to say the whole word. There's children listening. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The other reason why the Most High could have you in a low position is judgment. For whatever you did, the Most High will have you in that position for judgment. But either way, you're not supposed to reproach somebody that's in that position. I've watched Israelites try to floss on other Israelites. I've watched Israelites mock other Israelites and call them broke and dusty and bums and poor. I've watched that. I've watched that in this nation. And they see no sin in it. But the Most High said, if you mock the poor, you reproach your maker. One camp may be flourishing more than another camp, right? They may have more members. They may have better garments. They may have this. They may have that. But then you turn around and look at somebody else that doesn't have what you have, and you look down on them like that. Well, they're not on our level. Look at us and look at them. That's wicked. That's going on in Israel. I watch it all the time. It's wicked. It says, and he that is glad at calamities shall not go unpunished. So it's a common theme going all throughout the Bible, that people that like to see other people in bad positions, you like it in your spirit. The Most High says you're not going to go unpunished. That's evil. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16, verse 10. It says, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Lord pronounced all this great evil against us? Why are we in the conditions that we're in? Right? Or what is our iniquity? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord? And you know what's so funny about that? Our people, this is like almost a rhetorical question, because our people know they're wicked. Niggas in the world know they're wicked. They know they're wicked. And watch this. Israelites, in the truth of the unrepentant, know they're wicked too. They know they're wicked. They just have a narcissistic spirit where they can't admit it to themselves. Or try to find some excuse to circumvent the fact that you're wicked as hell. Anyway, let's keep reading. Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Lord, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law, and ye have done worse than your fathers. When you create something where you are capitalizing off somebody that's homeless and you're going to pay them $5 to fight each other, $5 each, and then you're going to make thousands and maybe tens of thousands of dollars selling DVDs on 125th Street. I remember when dudes used to stand on 125th Street in Harlem and sell these DVDs, and black people used to buy it. This whole idea of black people just being entertained by evil because of the internet is wrong. Niggas was entertained by evil and folly before the internet in the form of DVDs. How many Negroes ran? I'm sorry, it's going to be a little graphic. How many Negroes ran to buy that R. Kelly tape when he was having sex with that little girl? How many? See, what you guys don't know, let me tell you, for those of you guys that don't know, back in the 90s, when we were at the original school, One West, I used to work in the oil department. So we used to take the oil tables and we were vendors. We'd go out to different places. We'd go to the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, whatever, right? So sometimes I would set up on 125th Street with my table vending. And of course, you'd have vendors all up and down 125th Street until Rudolph Giuliani became mayor and he kind of ended that. But before that, Harlem was like, there was more money. People that were vending on the streets were making more money than the stores, the brick and mortar stores, which is why when Giuliani became mayor, he kind of moved everybody off the streets. And by the way, Elizabeth, anytime you have something to add in, you can feel free to add into what we're talking about today. But Giuliani moved everybody off the streets, right? But back then, before Giuliani did that, I used to go to 125th sometimes and sell oils and incense for the school. That's one thing I loved about the old school. They always employed brothers. You didn't have to go work for the white man if you didn't want to. There were actually businesses in the school that you could work for and pretty much work for yourself, right? The school, of course, would get a cut, right? But whatever was left over, that was for you and your family. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I used to be on 125th Street, and I remember when the R. Kelly tape came out, and it was selling. It was the dudes that was selling these DVDs had lines of people trying to buy this DVD off of them, to the point where they would sell out. Then you had the other nations, like the Arabs, the Africans, and everything. They caught wind of this tape, and they were selling it too. Negroes were entertained by evil. And so it is today in the Israelite community, because we're going to circle right back in the Israelite community. Negroes are looking at what's going on right now with our brothers in the Sakari camp. Brothers are watching, and a lot of you Israelites, you really, this is me saying this. A lot of y'all brothers don't care, really. You don't care. You don't care, really. Really what it is, you just want to know why it is, so you can be entertained to be nosy. That's what it is. You nosy. That's what it is. Anyway, let's move on. So you guys thought the bum fights were bad, right? Well, let's look at some other evil that niggas did, right? How many of you guys ever heard of something called diving for crack? That's right. It is what it says. Diving for crack. It wasn't enough that Negroes were paying bums to fight each other and reproaching their maker, whether they knew it or not. No. A Negro had a great idea, according to him, which is evil. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a whole bunch of crackheads and go someplace where there's a pool. And we're going to drop the crack vials in a pool and tell the bums to dive into the pool, the crackheads to dive into the pool and get those goddamn crack vials from the bottom of the pool. That's what Negroes were doing before the internet. Watch. There might be a couple of curse words in there. Forgive me if it is.
The only question I got is how long can we dive for the crack? Until it's gone. Until it's gone. Until it's gone? Yep. Oh, man, you understand me? That ain't gonna take long at all. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to put these crack rocks down in the swimming pool. We're gonna dive down there for crack.
All of us as crackheads out here, right, gonna be smoking up under the water by King.
This is the generation. I'm gonna go back a little bit. This is the generation that influenced the generation now. And this generation that was doing stupid stuff like this, having bums die for crack, are the same ones now that's crying about Sexy Red and Lotto and the internet and all this crazy ratchet stuff that's going on and everybody that all the youth are entertained by. But this is the generation that spawned this generation that they're complaining about. The generation that's complaining now is the generation that did stuff like this. You got crackheads diving in the pool for crack vials. Wicked. Laughing at somebody else's calamities. Wicked. And you have a lot of Israelites that had this spirit in the world that come in the truth, and you still got that same spirit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to put these crack rocks down in the swimming pool. We're going to dive down there for crack.
All of us as crackheads out here right now gonna be smoking up under the water by king.
It ain't but 3 of them left. I'm down there with this big old ass shovel, and I'm scooping up the rest of the ones that's down there. And if anybody get up under this shovel, I'm scooping their ass too. Yo, this shit is like the lotto. You got to be in it to win it.
And of course, and we're gonna end it there. Of course, at the end they showed him smoking it. My goodness. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 6. It says, "Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness." You have a lot of Israelites, like I said, that might be doing better, whether it be camps, whether it be individuals that might be doing better than others. So you think because you're doing, and that goes back to what we read a couple of weeks ago in the book of Revelation, right? Where you had certain churches that were rich in terms of they were rich in terms of the cities they lived in, were very, very rich cities with a lot of different businesses, different import and export, so forth and so on. But spiritually, they were bankrupt. You had that in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and so it is today. It's the same spirit. You can have a lot of material things and be spiritually rotten inside. And the opposite is true too. You can have little or just enough to get by your daily bread, but be rich in spirit. You have to decide which one you want. And you have some people that will be both. But in this community today, we're focusing on a lot of Israelites will look down and have contempt on others. Why do you think there's scriptures in the Bible about not making merchandise of your brother? Because you have Israelites that do that. That's why that has to be written. You'll actually leverage your own people. I'm talking about in the truth. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Like Anton Daniels, who made a video mocking the Israelites. That coon, let me call him by his proper name. That coon, Anton Daniels, that always brags about being rich. You might be rich as far as finances are concerned, but your ways are perverse. Your ways are perverse. Let's move on to the next slide. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 5. It says, "Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker, and he that is glad at calamity shall not be unpunished." Let's move on. It's the book of Proverbs 24, verses 15 through 20. It says, "Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falls 7 times." So right, a just man can fall 7 times. What does that mean? That means while you're sitting there laughing at somebody else's downfall, somebody else falling down, what you may not know is that might be a just man. That might be a just man. And the Most High may have mercy on that man and not you. You got to consider these things. A just man falls 7 times and riseth up, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Meaning a wicked man, the first time he fall, he just stays down. You have brothers that are in this truth sometimes, and sometimes brothers have made mistakes over the years. But they have learned from their mistakes, corrected their mistakes, and not repeated their mistakes. Then I've seen other Israelites in this truth that have fallen down, and the first time that they fall down, they didn't stay down. Next thing I know, you're in church, you're back to eating pork, or you're back in, I've seen Israelites go back in the world, back to gangbanging. I've seen that too. Yep. Verse 17. It says, "Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth." So there's a common thread throughout the Bible. "And let not thy heart be glad when he stumbleth." lest the Lord see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. That's the same thing we read in the book of Revelations where Christ, Yahushua, told one of the churches he would put their candlestick out. And what you guys are seeing in this community more and more is the Most High extinguishing a lot of brothers and sisters' candlesticks. Why? Because spiritually inside, they're not right. And so the Most High extinguishes their candlestick. Next thing you know, you start seeing these brothers and sisters bugging out. They don't believe in the doctrine anymore. Sisters are going into witchcraft. Now you're becoming daggone witches and mediums and psychics and all types of stuff. There's some sisters that were in the truth that are on OnlyFans. It was in the truth. Now you got an OnlyFans page. Yeah. Most High put your candlestick out because you wasn't right. You came into the truth and you didn't like none of the sisters. You couldn't find one sister you liked. You hated everybody. You couldn't get along with nobody. And you always wanted to see bad things happen to other sisters. You always have a negative thing to say about other sisters. Anytime that you come around other sisters, it's a dark cloud. You're like a dark cloud. And then the Most High puts your candlestick out. And now you on OnlyFans. Guys, that has happened. And that's where you always wanted to be anyway. That's where your heart was anyway. Let's move on. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verses 21 and 22. It says, if thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. And if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall reward thee. So if you do these things, if you don't render evil for evil, the Most High said he's going to reward you while he's going to heap coals of fire upon that enemy's head that you did good to, even when that person didn't do good to you. Do you guys understand that? You cannot come into the truth talking about you are repented, but you still render evil for evil. And just because somebody said something to you that you don't like, just because somebody may have even offended you, that you now feel as though you're justified to also sin. That's wrong. And you guys are listening to somebody that's been in this truth for 30 years. You guys think I haven't been offended? I've been offended and mistreated by some of the most well-known Israelites that you guys would know. I'll never say. Because it was many, many years ago. But some of the most well-known Israelites that you guys know and like have done some real and said some real messed up stuff towards me over the years. Right? But I still don't wish evil upon those brothers, and I don't badmouth those brothers. I've had Israelites on YouTube make videos about me outright lying. Outright lying. And I called them out on their lie too. But guess what? I didn't return the favor. Brothers that have been in the camp know what I'm talking about. This whole videos that have been made. That was an outright lie. We're all looking at each other like, yo, what the hell is these guys talking about? Right? And we just said, you know what? Most High be the judge. Most High judge between me and you. That's it. And leave it alone. Because the Most High said what? The Most High is going to reward you. And if that brother or those brothers were in a situation that was a bad situation and I could help those brothers, I could offer them bread to eat, I could offer them something to drink, even though they did me wrong, I would do it because the Bible says we're supposed to do that. There's a reward for that. And there's a reward for the evil that they did against you. That's what the Bible is telling you. Let's look at Psalms chapter 140, verses 9 through 11. It says, give me 1 second, y'all. Psalms 140, verses 9 through 11. It says, as for the head of those that compass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them. Right. So you speak mischief against somebody unjustly, what you wishing on that person, what you want for that person, is going to come on you. It's going to come on you. You laughing at somebody else's downfall, your day is coming. Verse 10, let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the lake of fire. This is the same thing that we read in Proverbs 25. Same thing. Let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the fire, into deep pits, that they do not rise up again. People that have this spirit, they're going to be destroyed. That's ultimately what it's saying. You're going to be rewarded if you feed your enemies. If you give your enemies things to drink, you're going to be rewarded, but they're going to heap coals of fire upon their head. They're going to be destroyed. Verse 11, let not the evil speaker, the ones that laugh at somebody else's downfall, be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. If you are somebody that's violent, you know, there are violent Israelites too. Israelites that want to be violent actually want to do harm to other people. If you don't think the way they think, if you don't believe the way they believe, if you're not a part of their organization or whatever it is they're part of, they would think to actually do you harm if they could. The Most High says somebody like that is not going to be established in the earth. Nah, you're not. That's why we're having this conversation, because if any of these things that I'm talking about is something that's in your spirit, then you need to pray to the Most High, fast, whatever you need to do to get that spirit off of you or out of you. Because you're not going to the kingdom with that spirit. Let's move on. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 2. We're going to start from verse number 21. It says, for even hereunto were ye called, because Yahushua Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Yahushua suffered for us. The same guy, you know, that they brought him to that kangaroo court that we call a trial that the Sanhedrin had, where they brought false witnesses against Christ in that council. He still gave himself for Israel anyway. His own people did that to him. They spit on him. They smacked him. They pulled his beard out, right? And Yahushua didn't be like, you know what, to hell with you Israelites. Because that's what some of you Israelites do. One Israelite will do you wrong, and now you hate all Israelites. Or you'll be a part of one organization, and for whatever reason you feel as though you were wrong by that organization, and now you want to lump everybody into the same lump. That's what you want to do. Yahushua didn't do that. Yahushua didn't do that. He is the example. Even having been disrespected the way he was disrespected in that Sanhedrin, Yahushua still gave himself for Israel. Verse 22. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Now, guile is not a normal black people word, so I put the definition on the screen. Guile means deceitful, cunning, duplicity. So neither was there any deceit or any cunningness in Yahushua's mouth. Verse 23, who, when he was reviled not again. That's the example. Not when he was reviled and then something happened to the person that reviled him, he laughed. No, when he was reviled, he reviled not again. And when he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously. In other words, the Most High is the judge. And the person that reviled you and the person that caused you to suffer in whatever way that they caused you to suffer, the Most High is going to judge the matter. So you commit that judgment into the hands of the Father. I'm not telling anybody here that that's easy, because we are human beings, flesh and blood. We are not Yahushua. We are not perfect like Yahushua. We're all still working, no matter how long you've been in this truth, we're all still working to have that perfected mind towards the Most High that we're supposed to have. But it's a work in progress. It'll be that way till the day you die. Nevertheless, that's the goal that we all should be striving to attain. And it's not easy. I'm not here to tell anybody it's easy. So it's a daily task. Constantly read these scriptures and constantly remind yourself of how you're supposed to be. Right? Verse 24. Who his own self bare our sins in his body on the tree, that we being dead to our sins should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes you were healed. So by Yahushua dying on the cross, now we have an opportunity to live righteously. We have an opportunity to be adopted back to our inheritance, adopted back to the Father, to be sons again, and to get all the promises that were promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We have an opportunity to do all these things because Yahushua suffered for us. And he didn't have to. He could have reviled because he was reviled. And so you have to ask yourself now, when you are reviled, do you have to respond in kind? Do you have to laugh at somebody else when something happens to them? No, you don't have to. Why? Because Yahushua didn't. Let's continue. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, Sirach in the Apocrypha 8, verse 7. It says, rejoice not over thy greatest enemy being dead, but remember that we all die. So if you hear somebody dies that may have been an enemy to you in one way or another, you ain't supposed to rejoice over. I've seen that happen in Israel. Yeah. That's not supposed to be. If you think that way, you need to examine yourself. You need to repent. Why would you laugh at somebody dying? Especially since that's as sure as anything in this earth, in existence, that you're going to die too. So why is it funny? It's not. Now let's look at the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 1. We're going to pick it up at verse number 1. And by the way, for those of you guys that's watching the PowerPoint, this is an icon of King David from the Russian icon book that was put together by a small hat named Kurt Weitzman. You can see David is a black man, right? All right, let's go ahead and read 2 Samuel chapter 1. Now it came to pass, after the death of Saul, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Amalekites, and David had abode 2 days in Ziklag, it came to pass on the third day that, behold, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his clothes rent, and earth upon his head. So it was, when he came to David, that he fell to the earth and did obeisance. Verse 3. And David said unto him, from whence comest thou? And he said unto him, out of the camp of Israel am I escaped. And David said unto him, how went the matter? I pray thee, tell me. And he answered, that the people are fled from the battle, and many of the people also are fallen and dead, and Saul and Jonathan his son are dead too. Now, I don't believe that there's anybody here that's new to the Bible for the first time. So you guys know that Saul tried to kill David several times. But as it turns out, Saul was killed first. So now David knows that the guy that tried to kill me several times is dead. Let's see how he reacted to that. And David said unto the young men that told him, how knowest thou that Saul and Jonathan his son are dead? And the young man that told him said, as I happened by chance upon Mount Gilboa, behold, Saul leaned upon his spear, and lo, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me, and called unto me, and I answered, here am I. And he said unto me, who art thou? And I answered him, I am an Amalekite. He said unto me again, Stand, I pray thee, upon me, and slay me, for anguish is come upon me, because my life is yet whole in me. So I stood upon him and slew him, because I was sure that he could not live after that he was fallen. And I took the crown that was upon his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them hither unto my Lord. Then David took hold of his clothes and rent them, and likewise all the men that were with him. And they mourned and wept. So David mourned and wept for the very man that tried to kill him. That's what he did. Because that was still the Most High's anointed. Saul was king. That was still an Israelite. And they mourned and wept and fasted, even for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of the Lord and for the house of Israel, because they were fallen by the sword. That's an example that many of us have to ask ourselves, if we were in the same position, would we do like David did? Or would we rejoice that our enemy is fallen and slain? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that honestly. Because the honest answer for most people is, if somebody tried to kill you, of course you want to see something happen to them, right? That's the honest answer as far as us just being human beings and being flesh and blood. That's the honest answer. A lot of times, of course, you want to see something happen to that person, right? But I want you guys to look at the example of our forefather David, who the Most High said is a man after his own heart. This is the most extreme situation that you can find, because this is somebody that's trying to kill you. A lot of times, those of us that's in this truth that harbor hatred for other Israelites, that rejoice at other people's downfall, that person didn't try to kill you. It's not this extreme. It's a lot less extreme. And you still wish death on that person. But say you're repentant. No, you're not. No, you're not. This is the book of Acts chapter 7, verses 57 through 60. This is when they had a kangaroo court against Stephen as well. You guys notice the pattern? A lot of our Israelite forefathers that were righteous, you had other Israelites that were wicked, so wicked to the point where they would even bring false witnesses against them and try to kill them. But you guys will notice a pattern. This is the book of Acts chapter 7, verse 57. It says, then they cried out with a loud voice and stopped their ears and ran upon him with one accord. And they cast him out of the city and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their clothes at a young man's feet, whose name was Saul. So this is Saul, who would eventually become the Apostle Paul. Verse 59. And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God and saying, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. And he kneeled down and cried with a loud voice, saying, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. Now I got to ask the question again. Here is a man that's literally being put to death by his own people. In David's case, it was an attempt or several attempts. In this case, it actually was happening. And yet, at the moment of his death, he asked the Most High not to lay that charge on them. Again, we have to ask the question. In this most extreme situation, a brother is merciful towards others. If you are not at the point of death because of what some other Israelite did to you, then why do you harbor so much hatred towards that brother or sister? Why? Where's the spirit of forgiveness? Where's the fruits of the spirit? Why are you waiting for something bad to happen to them for your satisfaction, to be satisfied. Why? If you feel that way, you haven't fully repented. That's the bottom line. Let's move on. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 3. We're going to start from verse number 8. It says, finally, be all of one mind, having compassion one of another. That's something that's lacking in Israel, compassion. Love as brethren, and that goes for the sisters too. Be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, railing for railing, but contrariwise blessings, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they should speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue. You're supposed to be seeking peace with your fellow Israelites. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It's so much division, and I can understand that you have different organizations, you have different camps. I understand that sometimes you have different doctrines, right? But I have witnessed the fact that brothers have different doctrines bring brothers to the point of blows, like fighting. That's happened. And somehow or another, in your small mind, you think you've repented. No, the Bible says a repentant Israelite would seek peace. You know, brothers speak down about the summits and the unity camps, and I understand because brothers do have different doctrines, so I get that part. But the part that the people that speak against the summits and the unity camps don't seem to understand is the purpose of it is so that there is peace between brothers that may not agree. Because when these summits and these unity camps didn't exist, there was not peace among camps. There was not. That's the purpose of a lot of the clubhouse rooms that brothers have, where you have different organizations and camps on the same stage to promote peace. That's the point. And if you are not seeing, listen very carefully what I'm saying, examine everybody, examine me. If you're not seeing leadership in Israel trending towards peace with others, those are not people you should follow. You should not be following somebody like that, because that person is unrepentant. Just going to tell you flat out. Verse 12. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. And who is he that will harm you if ye be followers of that which is good? And if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye. And be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. So the Bible is telling you that you're going to have to suffer for righteousness' sake. Which one of the prophets, in some way, shape, or form, didn't suffer for righteousness' sake? They all did in their own way. All the 12 that walked with Yahushua were killed with the exception of John. John was the only one that wasn't murdered, but he didn't get away scot-free. They sent him to the Isle of Patmos to work in them salt mines. So he was in prison. Right? So there's certain sufferings that you're going to go through in this truth. And sometimes those sufferings are going to be wrong. Sometimes another Israelite is going to wrong you. It's not your green light then to have hatred towards their brother or sister and to do evil to them or to wish evil upon them. That's not your right. You still got to stay in the spirit. And I want you guys to know, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself. I had a wise Israelite once tell me something, and he didn't think it was very profound, but it was very profound to me. And when and the minute he said it, it just resonated when it comes to social media. There have been, I'm going to use myself as an example. There have been times where people have said things about me that I know are not true, so forth and so on. And in the moment, I'm livid. Like, I'm livid. I'm keeping it tall with you. I'm livid. I'm like, if this person was standing in front of me, I would lay hands on them and all of that, right? I'm ready to go on the internet and tell a person that, every F word I could think of, every 4 or 5 letter word I'm ready to do it in the moment. And I remember the brother saying, yo, this is an exercise that he uses. If somebody says something online, simply put your phone down, walk away for an hour or two, and then go back and get your phone. And I guarantee you, by the time you go back and get your phone in an hour or two, you won't feel the same way that you felt before. If you're about to make a post where you're about to go crazy on social media, I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to go on Facebook and I'm going to blow everybody up. I'm going to expose everybody. You're just feeling that zeal and that passion to go crazy. Okay, you want to make that post? No problem. Put the phone down, walk away for an hour or two, and come back. And by the time you come back, you're not going to want to make that post anymore. Because a lot of times it's in the moment, in the emotions. And that's why I'm telling you, men, you as leaders are not supposed to be ruled by your emotions. You're not supposed to make decisions through your emotions. You are a human being. You do have emotions, but you're not supposed to make your decisions based on that. You leave that to the women. And you'll be the better for it, because a lot of times you'll come back and say you're glad. Like, all the times I can sit back and think of where I was ready to go crazy on certain people in Israel, especially some of these Israelites that go back to One West with me, that have done things and said things that I don't like, right? And I'll be ready to go crazy on them, right? But I'm glad I never did. I'm glad I never did. And a lot of people have come to me and said one of the reasons why they joined our camp, talking about Lines of Israel, or why they like my spirit, or whatever the situation might be, is because I've kind of kept a good name in Israel and I don't crash out and do crazy stuff like other leaders that are supposed to know better do. And it's not because I'm perfect or better than anybody. It's just because I apply that great wisdom. When I'm about to do something, I step away from it before I do something crazy that I'm going to regret. And I'm advising you, brothers and sisters, to do the same. Don't use your anger as an opportunity to sin. The Bible says, be angry and what? Sin not. Okay? Just step away. In due time, the Bible says liars are going to have their part in the lake of fire. So if somebody is even lying on you, you allow the Most High to bring the judgment on that person in due time. The Bible just told you the Most High is going to heap coals of fire on their heads. Don't worry about it. Let's continue. Ecclesiastes 38:23. When the dead is at rest, let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him when his spirit is departed from him. I have seen Israelites say evil things about other Israelites at the time of their death, or even after they died. You know, if a conversation comes up where somebody who may have passed away, their name comes up, you speak evil of that person. That's wrong. If the person is gone, let them rest. Don't you know that when you listen, nobody is universally loved. I don't give a damn how kind, how patient, how brotherly you are. There's somebody that just don't like you because they just don't like you. I hope everybody understands that. I hope nobody listening to this thinks everybody loves you. Everybody don't love you. I don't give a damn who you are. Somebody deep down really don't like you. As a matter of fact, somebody close to you doesn't like you. And when your time comes, that person is going to talk about you like a dog when you die. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Everybody ain't going to miss you. So just think about that when you fix your mouth to talk about somebody else that passed away. The Bible says when the dead is at rest, let them rest. If somebody did something to you that was wrong and the Most High takes their spirit, let it be. They're going to have to stand before the Most High and be judged. Let it be. This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, starting from verse number 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. If you ever listen to some cymbals by itself with no other instruments to accompany it, it's just noise. It's just noise. And that's what somebody is that can prophesy and they're loquacious, they're eloquent, they speak great things, but they have no charity. And charity equates to love. I'm going to show you guys that. They have no real love for their brothers or sisters. You're like a cymbal with no other accompanying instruments, just noise. Doesn't matter how deep you are, how well you speak, it's just noise. Verse 2. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains, and I have no charity, which is no love, I'm nothing. So, yeah, you can be the greatest speaker. You could have the gift of prophecy. You could understand the mysteries of Revelations and Daniel and 2nd Esdras 11, 12, and 13. And you just real deep brother. But meanwhile, you don't like that other brother over there, and something happens to that other brother over there, and you're happy about it. The Bible says you're nothing. If that's your spirit. Doesn't matter all the other gifts you have, you're nothing. Verse 3. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long. So in this truth, you have to love your people. You've been commanded. And sometimes loving your people, you're going to suffer because everybody ain't going to love you back. Everybody ain't going to do you right. But you got to suffer that. Charity envieth not. You're not looking to take somebody's position. You don't want to see somebody fall down so you can take their position because you envy them. Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. Doth not behave itself unseemly. Seeketh not her own. You out for yourself. Selfish. Is not easily provoked. Some of you brothers that have tempers, y'all need to work on that. Thinketh no evil. You're thinking about how you can do evil to another brother or sister. Plotting on them. In one way, shape, or form. Lying on them. Rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth. Beareth all things. You're going to have to bear all things. Some of those things are going to be unpleasant. Believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. If you really have the love of the Father in you, you're going to endure. I've seen people drop out of this truth and not be able to endure because of what you experience with an individual, with a camp, whatever it may be, and you use that as an excuse to fall out the truth, then you never really had the love of the Most High in you because the love of the Most High is going to cause you to endure. It is nothing that you're going through in your walk that ain't somebody else going through at the same time or somebody else didn't go through before. There's no unique circumstance. Somebody done been through that too. Not a reason to leave the truth. Now, when we look at this word charity, I want to show you guys, it's from the Greek word agape. And agape translates to love. That's what I was telling you guys. So when you see that charity there, that's talking about love. Love is long suffering with your brothers and sisters. Love is kind. Love doesn't have envy, and it's not puffed up. So examine yourself. You say that you have the love of the Father, right? Do you have any of those characteristics in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4? If the answer is yes, you need to work on that. It's the book of John, chapter 13, verse 33. It says, little children, yet a little while am I with you. Ye shall seek me, and as I have said unto the Jews, whither I go, ye cannot come. So now I say unto you, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. When Christ says it's a new commandment, love was always in the scriptures. Love is in the law, but it just wasn't practiced. It wasn't emphasized. It wasn't the focus. So Christ is now recentering and refocusing his disciples and his followers and saying that the main thing that we need to work on is love, because that's what's missing. That's what's not emphasized. This is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 12. It says, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. So it was so important that Yahushua came back 2 chapters later and said the same thing. If you love your brother or your sister, you don't wish evil upon them. And when I say love, we're not talking about the emotion of love. We're not talking about that. Love is the commandments. Love is the commandments. We all know that, right? I ain't got to go to the precept, 1 John 5 and 3. Love is the commandments. So if you love your brother or sister, you don't wish evil, you don't wish death, you don't wish any of those things upon them, and you don't laugh at their calamity. You just don't do stuff like that. This is the book of Romans, chapter 5, verses 7 through 9. It says, For scarcely for a righteous man will one die. Yet peradventure for a good man, some would even dare to die. But God commendeth his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So we offended the Father by doing sins, going into idolatry, following the ways of the other nations. We offended the Father. Instead of the Father taking that personal and wiping us out as a nation, right? The Most High did punish us and bring the other nations against us. But at a certain time, the Most High also had mercy on us. How so? The Most High gave us his son, and his son died for us. So in the midst of us doing evil towards the Father returned our evil with good. Right? So that's the example. Somebody do something wrong to you and offends you. You try to seek and see how you can do something righteous back to that brother or sister. And I know it's hard, but that's what the book says we're supposed to do. And if you're a repentant Israelite, you're supposed to want to do that. And if you're not there yet, work on it. That goes for everybody, including the person that's talking, which is me. Got to work on that. Verse 8 again, but God commendeth his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners, Yahushua died for us. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from the wrath to come. Because there was wrath that was supposed to come on us as a people because we broke the law. We violated that first covenant. But rather than the Most High just be like, you know what, you guys violated the covenant, it's done for, it's over for y'all. No. Now by Yahushua dying, we're now justified by his blood, and we are saved from the wrath that was supposed to come because Yahushua mediated a new covenant and gave us a way back to the Father, a way back into the good graces of the Most High so that we can receive the promises that the Most High promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. So I'm going to end that there. I didn't want to, there's 100 precepts, but these precepts are repetitive. I think everybody understands what it is that I was saying. All right. So, If everybody understands what I was saying, you guys know, just put a 1 in the chat and let me know. I'm going to transition over a little bit into something else, but if everything was understandable, guys, put 1 in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a moment. All right, guys. All right, so we're gonna transition over, and we're gonna do a little history, guys. We're gonna do a little history today. All right, we're gonna break the monotony. I done lectured y'all to death and beat y'all in the head. So we're gonna do a little history, real quick before I get started. Elder Zab, was there anything you wanted to say if you're there, or if not, I'll just go to the next PowerPoint. Now, if you're there, Zahab, I can't hear you. I saw you unmute for a second, but then you went back on mute. So, all right. All right, if you want to say something, then you can always come off mute. I'm just going to go to the next PowerPoint. All right, guys. So you guys on Clubhouse, remember what I told you? I said the first half of the lesson was be just something to listen to and to ponder. But the second half of the lesson, which is now the PowerPoint I'm going to show you guys, is something that you guys may want to see. All right. So I have a series of history lessons that I go into called What They Did Not Teach You in History Class, right? I've done a couple of them in the academies that we've done, and in the future academies, I'll go through some more of them, right? Today we're going to talk about John Mackie, a very, very important person in history, because John Mackie kind of fills in the blanks for a lot of things that we teach. We get a lot of pushback from the conscious community and from other people about certain things we teach. So let me do it for you guys this way. Let me set the table this way before we actually get into the book. Before I came into the truth, I was studying the lessons of the 5 percenters, right? I used to study that stuff. And I remember one of the things that we were being taught, by a lot of the gods, that's what they call themselves, the gods, was that Islam is supposed to be our way of life. That's the way of life for the black man. And that the Bible is the white man's book. To this day, the Nation of Islam still teaches that. To this day, the 5 percenters still teach that. Right. And I believe that. I didn't know no better. I believe that. And one of the things it does when it tells you that the Bible is the white man's books, and you start marrying that idea with history, we went into slavery. The slave masters were Christians. They would convolute and twist certain scriptures in the Bible to justify slavery. So when you start marrying the idea of what happened to us in slavery, and one of the tools that the white man used was the Bible, although we all know he was cherry picking scriptures and not using it in its entirety. But let's just say that he was using the Bible as a tool. Then you come into the knowledge of being a 5 percenter. You call yourself being enlightened. You're waking up. You come to the knowledge of the 5%. And they tell you that the Bible is the white man's book. You tend to believe it because of what you know about history. And it's a very, very powerful tool because it keeps a lot of our people away from the Bible. That's what it does. They also teach us, or taught us, that a lot of the people that were associated with putting the Bible together were homosexuals. So now you add all those things together. It was a bunch of homosexual white men that gave us the Bible, and the slave masters used it as a tool to oppress our people. You guys have heard these talking points in one way or another, in one shape or form, whatever before. I'm not breaking any ground, any new ground. When I first came into the truth, the elders were like, all those things were lies. That the Bible is not the white man's book. It's the book of the Israelites, and the Israelites are black. And not only was the Israelites black, in the Bible is not the white man's book. But the people, many of whom that in history that we know of that actually gave us the Bible, brought us the Bible, were black too. And that's where I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. And to this day, the conscious community still mocks us when we say that. Now, some brothers and sisters may know this history already, and some of you guys may not know this history already. What I'm going to show you is this work right here is probably one of the most important works in existence that we have access to, that proves the point of what we teach when we teach that, yeah, the people that actually gave us the Bibles that we hold to today, especially the KJV, these are black people. This is probably one of the most important works. This is not a work that anybody can deny, as I'm going to show you, because this is literally what they call in academia a primary source. This is an eyewitness. Like when you go to court, they have the star witness. The star witness in a murder trial usually is an eyewitness, the person that was standing right there and saw the event with their own eyes. That's what John Mackie is. That's who he is. So the name of this book is called The Memoirs of the Secret Service of John Mackie during the reign of King William, Queen Anne, and George I. So this guy is an eyewitness in the court, in the king's court. He's looking around and looking at everybody that's there, and he's looking at the kings too. Eyewitness. So we're going to remove our emotions and remove our opinions out the equation, and we're just going to read what the eyewitness says, because we're told that we just make these things up to make ourselves feel good, and we make everybody black. No, these are black people. These are black people. All right, let's go to the first slide. So Yale University, what is a primary source? It says they are usually created by witnesses or recorders, people that actually witnessed events. This is what a primary source is. When you come down here, another thing that will be considered a primary source is a memoir. A memoir. That is considered a primary source, which is why the name of this book is called The Memoirs of the Secret Service of John Mackie. All right, now. I have something here from the dictionary that I want you guys to understand, right? It says this. Standardized spelling in English was completed in the year 1630. So prior to 1630, there was no such thing as standardized spelling in English. Like you could, the way that you thought a word sounded is the way you spelled it, right? But then, of course, that makes no sense in languages, so they had to actually standardize spelling so that everybody spelled words the same way. Okay, now I want you guys to take a look at what I have right here. The titled nobility are part of the peerage which shares the responsibility of government, right? So in other words, this is your government or your British nobility under the king. You have the king, right? And then under the king, this is the order of nobility. You have what are called dukes. You have what are called marquises, earls, viscounts, and barons. This is your nobility. So what you guys are going to find out is the families that were ruling in this 1600s in England, where we get our English Bibles from, these are black people. Doesn't matter what Google Images shows you with white people. It doesn't matter. Those images were painted later. Those images were painted not by eyewitnesses, none of that. What we're going to look at is an eyewitness account of how these people actually really look. Let's go. So we're going to deal with the House of Stuart. This is where you get your King James Bible from, right? The King James Bible comes from this guy right here, James I. James I has a son named Charles I, right? You guys see that on the screen? And from Charles I comes Charles II. He's going to be the focus. This is the great-grandson of King James. But he's going to be our focus today, right? So we have to ask ourselves some questions. We're going to start off with the premise that King James was a white man, according to what we were taught. He's a white man. So we're going to come down to his great-grandson, Charles II, and we're going to read some stuff about that. Let's go. What is the Dictionary of National Biography and why does it matter? Well, the Dictionary of National Biography is a primary source, right? So the Dictionary of National Biography was put together in 1893. Now, I want to come to the entry about John Mackie. We're not going to read all this. It's a lot of stuff on the page. We're not going to read all this stuff. We're just going to get right to the point. John Mackie was a government agent or spy. So he worked for the crown. So he was in the king's court and saw everybody, what they look like, all that. And the British actually put him in their national biography. So this is real stuff. This is not nothing fake. None of the black Israelites made up. Nope. This is all real stuff, as you guys can see. Right? Let's go to the next slide. Oh, we're going to see. I'm going to skip all this stuff about John Mackie. I'm going to skip this too for the sake of time. Okay. Now we're in the same Dictionary of National Biography, right? We're going to read about a guy by the name of Sir William Douglas. I want you guys to listen. Pay attention. Stay with me. It's all going to start to make sense in a moment. If you're lost, it's going to make sense in a moment. Look at this. This is Sir William Douglas, Dictionary of National Biography, Volume 15. Sir William Douglas. Let's read about him. Sir William Douglas. He inherited the swarthy complexion of the good Sir James and was also called the Black Douglas. The Black Douglas. So William Douglas was the same complexion as his father James Douglas, and they were so black that they got the nickname the Black Douglases. Do you guys see that? Do you see that? Okay. Now I'm going to go one slide before. This is from a book called When Scotland Was Jewish. We're on page 61. You guys see that? This is what it says. It says, notable in this genealogy are the relatively frequent marriages with the royal Stuart family, marriage to cousins of the same name, Douglas. Let me make it make sense for you guys. There was intermarriages within the family. The Stuart family, which is where your King James comes. Let's go back. This is the House of Stuart. This is King James. He's the progenitor of the House of Stuarts. Him right here. Okay. Now, when you come here to this book called When Scotland Was Jewish, it tells you that they had some cousins named the Douglases. And these two families constantly were marrying each other to keep the royal blood pure. They were constantly marrying each other. Then when you come to the Dictionary of National Biography, it tells you the Douglases were black. Right there. Y'all see it? Right there. How does this white family, if King James's family was white, how does this white family have black cousins? How does that work? Somebody help me out. I do want you guys to know that this Dictionary of National Biography is put together by white scholars, not us. These are black people. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Just in case you don't know what swarthy is dark colored. So the Douglas family, which are cousins of the Stuarts, are dark people. So dark that they're called black. And they're family to the Stuarts. Why? Because they're all black. That's the point. That's the point. Let's go to the next one. All right. So now that we went through all of that, now I'm going to come back here. I'm going to try to make this so that you guys are not too lost. I know it's a lot, but sometimes it's good to go into this stuff. Remember what I showed you guys. This is the nobility of England during that time. You had the king, then you had dukes, marquises, earls, viscounts, and barons. This is your nobility. So not only was the kings black, but the nobility was black too, as we're going to see. Let's jump back to slide number 16. It says the Earl of Kingston. What is this? The nobility. It says, of the name and family of Pierpont, has a very good estate, is a very fine gentleman of good sense, well-bred, and a lover of the ladies. Entirely in the interest of his country, makes a good figure, is of a black complexion. So the Earl of Pierpont, at this time, the nobility, was black. This is an eyewitness in the court seeing this and writing it in his memoirs. That lives forever. Let's go to the next one. Let's talk about Charles, Duke of Somerset, of the ancient family of Seymour. This is another noble family around the same time, who made so great a figure in the reign of Edward VI. This duke in the reign of the King Charles II had the garter and married the heiress of Piercy of Northumberland, which much increased his estate. But he made no considerable figure till the reign of King James, when being in waiting as bedchamberman at the arrival of the Pope of Nuncio in England, and refusing to assist at the ceremony of the introduction, he was dismissed from all his employments. He is of middle stature, well-shaped, a very black complexion. This is the Duke of Somerset. Black. This is your nobility that they taught you was white. These are people that were around and ruling around the time we start getting our Bibles in English, brother. That's what I'm showing you. Let's go to the next one. Let me see what time it is. Another gentleman by the name of John, the Duke of Buckinghamshire. And you guys can see it right there. It's in red, Buckinghamshire. Let's go right down and let's get to the point. Of a brown complexion. So we just had the Duke of Somerset. Somerset is a different place over here. He's of a black complexion. Then you have another guy that was given this area to rule, which is Buckinghamshire, and he's of a brown complexion. These are all the people. Remember, you have your king, you have your dukes, so forth and so on, and the king gives them certain areas where they rule. So these guys that were ruling these areas are black, not white. Let's go to the next one. Daniel, Earl of Nottingham, and also the Secretary of State. Let's go right down to the bottom part. It says a tall, thin, very black man. Like what? Watch this. Like a Spaniard or Jew. Wow. Wow. Translation, the Jews are black. John Mackie knew that. So when he saw this guy, Daniel, Earl of Nottingham, he said, damn, that dude is black like the Jews. Not understanding that these are Jews as well. These are Israelites as well, just scattered Israelites. That's all. Lawrence, Earl of Rochester. You guys see Rochester is right there where the arrow is. Very well shaped, of a brown complexion. So we have all these different places and all these different areas that we were ruling in that you were never told that. You were never told that. And they don't tell you this to keep you away from this history and also to keep you away from the Bible because you think this is all white people's history. A lot of your children don't want to go to school. They don't want to go to class. They don't want to learn nothing because they're not learning about themselves. When in actuality, the history that's in those history books in schools is about them. They just slapped a white face on it. That's all they did. What about John, Duke of Newcastle? A black, ruddy, the word ruddy means young looking or youthful looking. A black, ruddy complexion man. This is your Duke of Newcastle. Let's go to the next one. Charles Lenos, Duke of Richmond. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Watch this. Charles Lenos, Duke of Richmond, is the son to King Charles II. So now we're dealing with the king. We done seen earls. We done seen dukes. That's the lower nobility. Now we're talking about the king. Charles Lenos is the son to King Charles II. So how did Charles Lenos look? He is a gentleman, good-natured to a fault, very well bred, and hath many valuable things in him. Is an enemy to businesses, very credulous, well-shaped, watch this, black complexion, much like King Charles. So you got to unpack that now. Charles Lenos, the son of King Charles II, is black, just like his father. Wait a minute. Now we got to go back. Now we got to come out on slide 22, and we got to go back up. Here's Charles II right here. He is the great-grandson of King James himself. How does this white man get a very black great-grandson and great-great-grandson in Charles II and Charles Lenos? How does that happen? How does that happen? It doesn't, because these people were never white. They were never white. Where is it? They were never white. These are King James's great-grandchildren. And this spy that was in the court actually seen these people and wrote it in his memoirs. This was never meant to get into you and my hands, by the way. I just want you guys to know that. It was never meant for us to get it. This was white people writing and recording history for other white people. That's why this book is not sold in any store anywhere. But fortunately, because of you have websites like what the hell's the name of that website? But archive.com, we're able to get the PDFs. The book still exists in PDF form. It's been saved and spared for our usage today. These are the things that when I started seeing them, when I first came to truth, I was like, wow, they were right. They were right. Because it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually demonstrate it. I'm going to come back to Charles Lenos, guys. I'm going to come back to Charles Lenos in a moment, but I want to continue on just a little bit for another about 5 minutes. Let's go. Continue. All right. Charles, Duke of St. Albans, is son to King Charles II by Miss Gwen. So you guys can understand, Charles II had multiple wives. Don't get mad, sisters. Charles II had multiple wives, and he had multiple children, and he named all his sons Charles. So don't get confused. This gentleman's name is Charles Lenos. He's Duke of Richmond. That's one of his sons, who is black, right? Black complexion. Now let's talk about his other son, Charles, Duke of St. Albans. It says, he is a gentleman every way, de bon natural, well-bred, does not love business, is well affected to the continuation of his country. He is of a black complexion. So that's two black sons. Now you guys got to look back at the left again. Here is King James right here that they say is a white man. And when you come down to Charles II, now they're saying this guy is black. How does that happen? This is his descendants. How did they turn black? How does that happen? They didn't turn black. They were always that. And Charles has sons. And his sons are all being described by this eyewitness as being black. All of them. He is black. He's of a black complexion, not so tall as the Duke of Cumberland, yet very like King Charles. Okay? Now let's go down to another one. Charles Fitzroy, Duke of Grafton, is grandson to King Charles II. How did this guy look? A tall black man, about 25 years old. These are all black people. Now you might ask yourself, well, why is it when I go to Google Images, a lot of the images are white? And the answer, when you do research on this stuff, which this sort of stuff I'm not going to do on those Sabbath class, this type of information that I will demonstrate is for the academy. A lot of those images were never painted by eyewitnesses when you do the study. A lot of those images you see on Google Images that are attributed or purported to be these people were never painted by eyewitnesses. It's always people that never actually even met the king that would paint those false images for a reason. But I'll save that for the next academy. Let's move on. Now let's get back to the lower nobility, still nobility nonetheless. John Lord Somers. He is Lord Chancellor. That's a high position in the King's Court, right? And he is of middle stature and a brown complexion. You had a lot of black people as nobility. Algernon Capel, Earl of Essex. Here's Essex over here. Brown complexion and well-shaped. Basil Fielding, the Earl of Denbigh. That's Denbigh up here. Very black and turned 40 years old. Richard Lumley, the Earl of Scarborough. There's Scarborough right there. A handsome man of brown complexion. The Earl of Kingston is of a black complexion, well-made, not 40 years old. Listen, guys, you guys get the idea? All this was, and I'm going to wind it down now, all this was an exercise to build some of you brothers and sisters' faith, because I know sometimes you guys hear things, people say things about the Bible, you're not sure. I know I heard the elders say that these people are black, but I never seen it. When I go to Google Images, everybody's white. That's because you don't know where to look. So I'm showing you guys where to look. This book is available. I want to see if I can do an exercise for you brothers and sisters to help you guys out. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 minute, and I'm going to look for something, and I'm going to come back and show you guys. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, there we go. There we go. Right. So Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you guys something. We're about to wind stuff down here momentarily. So this time I'm going to share my screen a little bit differently. Okay, let's see. Share screen. I want to make sure the audio is on because I'm going to share quite a few things with you guys. So the first thing I want you guys to see is the Google search I did. You guys see the Google search I did? So you can't tell me you can't find this. What I just showed you guys, if you liked it, this is what you do. You just put it into Google and you see the websites that come up. Archive.com. This is the website. Archive.org. Also, Google Books has these. When you click on the archive.com link, boom, click on it. Okay. My computer's moving a little slow, but that's all right. See how it comes up? You scroll down, boom. You see where it says PDF? You click on the PDF, it's going to open the PDF and you could download it, and now you own it. Now you own a book just like I own it. And you guys will have proof that what we say is true. And this book was written when? 1733. So no Black Israelites made this up. None of that stuff. They can't say none of that stuff. All right? All righty. Now, Salaki, y'all, it's time for me to wind down because the God First Gang is about to come on. So it's time for me to make a couple of announcements. So let me get right to it. I'll share my screen again. Okay. So as you guys know, August the 10th, we're running back the boat ride. We had a boat ride for our meet and greet for Passover. We're running it back August the 10th. August the 10th, we're doing a boat ride. August 11th, we're doing a cookout in New Jersey. With that being said, I'm going to let you play the video for you guys. And I'm going to show you guys, if you are interested in coming, how you need to reach out to us, because I need Israelites to follow instructions. Let's go.
Peace and blessings, family. We back at it again. August 10th. There'll be another yacht ride in New Jersey. If you want to attend, everything is free. Free drinks, free foods, but you have to email us like last time. The email is eventrsvn@yahoo.com. Once again, that's eventrsvn@yahoo.com. Make your reservations to get your spots. The event will be from 5:30 to 12 a.m. That means there's going to be plenty of time to have fun and enjoy yourselves. The spots are limited, so put in your email as soon as possible so I can reserve you a spot. All right, if y'all was there last time, you know we had a great time. It was a beautiful event. Everything was lit. We was on fire last time, so don't miss this one. Come through, let's have fun, enjoy ourselves. We're closing the summer out lit, crazy. Also, if you think you fly, we got a competition coming up, right, in the yacht ride. So it'll be $500 to the best classy outfit. If you're a woman, we got 12 slots. If you're a man, we got 12 slots. So the best classy outfit, the flyest, gets $500. Now, you know, for the sisters, we ain't talking about no ratchet outfit, you know, that we see out here with, you know, everything showing. We want to see how classy you are, right? So if you're classy, let's do it. Let's make it happen. You already know. Peace and blessings. I'll see y'all there.
All right, y'all. So
drinks, free foods.
So to email. This is the flyer, guys. This is the flyer. And if you guys could see at the bottom, that's the email. eventsrsvn@yahoo.com. That is how you guys can come, but you have to we need a head count. All right, so you guys have to email. Please stop inboxing me about it on Instagram and on daggone on Instagram and on Clubhouse. Please go through the email. Thank you. The next day, we're gonna have a cookout in the park as well. All right, so we'll have information, the address, so forth and so on, for anybody that wants to come. All right. So now, two other things real quick. I know the brothers are getting ready to start their class, but this is important for those that are interested. All right, let me stop sharing my screen for 1 second, and let me share my screen again. I got to add Zahab to the stage. My bad. I didn't know you were. Okay. Share my screen. I'll share the entire screen. All right. This is important, guys. I'm getting a lot of interest in me doing another academy. I was not going to do another academy this year, to be honest. I was going to give myself a break because it's a lot for me to do the academy because it's 6 months, right? But I've been getting a lot of interest in doing an academy. But this time, should I do an academy, it's going to be a little bit more restricted than it's been in the past, with all due respect. We want to focus a lot heavier on prospects that are from the following states that I have on my screen: New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Colorado, Texas, Louisiana, California, and Florida. Why these states? Because these are states that we are already in, right? So we kind of want to focus on building up the congregations that are in these areas before we start focusing on other areas where we're not as strong. So for the next academy, we want to focus on these particular areas. Now, I do have something in red up here that's a caveat. If you're in a state that's not listed, and let's say it's 3 or 4 brothers at the same time that are trying to come in, then that's acceptable, because now, you know, it's not just one person. But I don't want no one person from some random state somewhere in daggone Vermont. You're the only person in Vermont. They know the Israelites nowhere else in Vermont but you. With all due respect, you know what I'm saying, that's not really going to help us, because it's very difficult. We want to be able to visit the places where we have congregations at. And so it has to be worth it. It can't be just one person. All right. For the sisters, it's a little bit different, because the sisters aren't really out teaching or anything like that. So for the sisters, the criteria will be different. I'll speak to the captain about that. You have to email us at the email joinloy149@gmail.com and put in the section that tells you about what the email is about, right? Put in that section that you want to join the academy. If I get enough people from the states that I have on the screen, then I will do an academy in October. That's provided I get enough interest in it. I got a lot of interest last time, but it was random people all over the place. I don't really want to do that at this time. We will eventually branch out further into other states in the future, but right now we want to focus on where we already have members. All right, so that's very, very important. All right, let me stop sharing my screen. There's one other announcement, and I totally blacked out and forgot to set it up. Give me 1 second, guys.
Hey, Priest, while you're setting it up, I would like to add that the list, the states that you listed, you should also put a caveat on it and let them know underneath the state, it should be like, for example, New York, we need brothers in New York City. New York is a big state, right? People think New York is just Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. No, you got Albany, you got Binghamton, Schenectady, Utica, blah, blah, blah. We're looking for brothers who can come to camp in New York City, in the belly of the beast, right? Whether you're in Queens, Brooklyn, wherever, you should be able to come to camp. This is for prospects or brothers who want to go through the academy and join. One of the criteria is you should be able to come to camp. So even though you're in New York, if you're damn near next to Canada, that don't even make no sense. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to add that.
No, he's right, because a lot of times you guys want us to visit y'all, to come where you are, and it has to make sense for us. That's the point. So email us if you're in those states, and we'll be we'll be specific about what it is we're looking for in those particular states, whatever city that it is. All right. Hostile MGTOW, I did. I'm going to deal with that in probably an upcoming show. Last announcement, guys. Let's just go ahead and do this. I was asked by the sister to share this information with you guys, so you guys can support if you're in the Houston area. Our sister Shemayim is doing her first live performance, her first paid performance. It's at a place called the Getaway Place in Houston. It's August the 27th, 2024. So like, if you're in the Houston area, go out and support the sister. It's her first show, but she's actually being paid. You guys that were here from the very beginning, those first couple of songs I played for the class, that's her singing. So she's a good performer. She's a good artist, and we want to continue to support our own. So if you're in the Houston area, August the 27th, the Getaway Palace. You can hit her up if you need more information. She is on Facebook. Just put in her name, Shemaim Kowal, and she'll come up, and you guys can ask her any questions, all right? With that being said, I think that I am complete. I think I did everything I need to do. Zahab, is there anything that we missed? Or
no, that's it, because for brothers and sisters in lands of Israel, we could communicate through the Telegram. I just wanted to add one quick thing, King. What you were saying on the history is fire, bro. And there's also breadcrumbs of truth also to back up what you're saying, right? Not now, but anybody want to research, type into Wikipedia, type in Black Boy Tavern in England. Just how it sounds. Black like the color, boy like a young boy. Black Boy Tavern, England, right? You type that into Wikipedia and they'll tell you literally it was named after Charles II. They call him the Black Boy. So how you gonna have Charles II and he's called, and by the way, it's the oldest inn in the whole country, oldest establishment dating back to 1522. So that just shows that what the priest is bringing out is right and exact.
All praise to the Most High for this truth. And brothers and sisters, remember, this is the truth. It's going to be, I'm going to tell y'all, quite frankly, it's going to be a bumpy couple of days. I see what's getting ready to happen. I'm just going to say this. Please keep the brothers from Sakari in y'all prayers. All right. They're going through some things right now. Let's pray to the Most High for those brothers, and for the people that's part of the camp, to build their spirits up. All right. But we still love Israel, and we're going to support Israel. Right. And that's what we're going to do. Right. I don't want to see nobody. Don't get involved in nothing. If you're not a part of the camp, stay out of it. Mind your business. All right. And we're going to support Israel, brothers, period. Okay. And hopefully it can be peace. With that being said, it's your brother Priest Danyaahla representing Lions of Israel, Maccabeestv. If you have not subscribed to the channel and you're sitting here watching the videos, that's wicked as hell. You need to repent. Believe the gospel, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. With that, I say shalom.
Reflecting the way of life under the Florida sky. Even the lobbies funnel in the great outdoors.
Chosen.
I was set apart for God's use. Chosen. I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
Chosen. They say the chain of Shaitan is not that strong. They say his time is running out, he ain't got that long. They say murder, murder, kill, this is not that song. Said I won't amount to nothing, they got that wrong. Cause I was set apart and I was shown the light. And if I get the kingdom, I'll be clothed in white. 1/3 will be delivered and the rest were blinded. Their fate is set in stone, what you ain't read the fine print? Christ is gonna give a crown to us. In the end we'll have the nations bowing down to us, with their faces to the ground to us. It's the truth, as crazy as it sounds to us. Jacob forever rules, and we're his precious jewels. Showed us love and patience, put us above the nations. And that's the gospel, thank God for choosing me. Bad news for you, it's really good news for me.
I was set apart for God's use. Chosen. I was set apart for God's use. Formed in His image.
We're not the same as these other nations. Let me tell you why. We have a different kind of shine, a different kind of mind. The rhythm's not the same, we're on a different type of time. With a different kind of pace, a different kind of race. The season's not the same, we have a different kind of taste. A different kind of salt, we are so not them. Got my sword and my shield, man, I'm so locked in. And when I came to serve Yahweh, put my whole heart in. So I can't sit calm, I'm no Martin. Ha. And that's a reach, y'all, chosen to teach y'all. Every Sabbath you can find us in the streets, y'all. Danyaahla, my nickname is Priest, y'all. In the gym, they say that I'm a beast, y'all. Set apart, the nations all hate me. Set a trap, they lying in wait for me. Chris Paul, they don't wanna play with me. But if you love me, I'm asking that you pray with me. Cause
I was set apart for the Jews. Chosen. I was set apart for the Jews. Formed in His image.
Chosen. And thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people, chosen above all people that's on the face of the earth. That's Deuteronomy 7 and 6. That's you, black and Latin man. Chosen. That's you, black and Latin woman. Yeah. And we the chosen. Chosen.